It's safe to say that Disney Animation has been behind in terms of quality for the last few years, seeing as most of their recent films have had rather dividing opinions among fans. Frozen 2 had people completely split, Raya and the Last Dragon was basically the same, even though I hate that movie, and Ralph Breaks the Internet was so bad that a hatedom spawned that might actually be bigger than its actual fandom. Needless to say, all these things combined made it a bit hard to get excited for their next film, Encanto. The concept looked promising, and it had talented people on board, but so did the last 3 movies, and I didn't like any of them. But I don't think I'm saying anything original or surprising here when I tell you I fucking love this movie. I haven't seen a single Disney animation movie this good since Moana, and it'll probably be considered a classic years to come, also like Moana. Because this is one of those films where everything just feels right. How we go from Raya to this is incredible. Years ago, a woman named Alma and her husband try to flee their home from an army with their triplets, but the husband is killed. The candle, however, grants her a miracle, blasting away the army and creating a magical house for them to live in. The candle's magic grants gifts to her children as well as their children, which is essentially superpowers like super strength, shape-shifting, controlling the weather, all that fun stuff. But the only child who didn't get a gift is Mirabelle, for reasons nobody can figure out. She still tries to help the family and be supportive, but one day she notices the house is beginning to break, yet nobody else can see it. So it's up to her to save the miracle's magic and help her family come out with their true feelings. So first off, I need to take a moment to gush about the animation because this movie looks phenomenal. It's a perfect balance of giving characters funny expressions and life and needing to slow things down to let the story flow naturally. I heard some people were bothered by some of the exaggerated faces the characters make, and I'm just sitting here thinking, they do know this is an animated movie, right? I can't even recall any characters who look like your beautiful or normal design characters. They're all allowed to shine through their emotions. The colors all leap off the screen, and there's never a dull moment. When the animation's put to the songs, it's absolutely breathtaking. And oh yeah, I might as well address the songs because I loved every single one of them. Whether that's Mirabelle's I Want song, which is also a solid introduction to the family, the 2 songs that her sisters get, all about finally opening how they feel on the inside, and of course I need to talk about We Don't Talk About Bruno. It's fantastic, and unlike Frozen, I don't see myself ever getting sick of them. They all do justice in serving the story and are when the movie loves to shine bright with the animation. And it also helps that the characters are all very enjoyable and get just the right amount of screen time. I was kind of worried that because this movie is about a large family that most of them wouldn't really get a lot to do, since something like the Loud House movie has the sisters barely get anything interesting to do aside from just being plot tools. With Encanto, all the characters get a lot of fun stuff to do. Mirabelle's cousins all show off their powers in fun and creative ways, and like I said earlier, her 2 sisters Luisa and Isabella get their own songs about struggling to meet reality's expectations. And the glue that ties all these great dynamics together is Mirabelle herself. I love how even though she doesn't have a gift, she's never jealous or selfish about it and still copes to help her family and be the best she can. It's not like Lincoln, who only did this for his own selfish benefit. Oh, and Bruno? Absolutely hilarious despite only being in a couple scenes. Eat your heart out, Olaf, or lack thereof. And I think it's time to address the 2 core aspects of this movie, the story and message. Yes, I'm going into the message again just like I did with Raya, but I'll try to be nicer this time. The emotional hook right out the get-go is that Mirabelle feels worthless and insignificant to her family all because she lacks a gift. She strives to be helpful, but she also discovers that Luisa and Isabella are struggling under the weight of expectations purely because they do have gifts. It's a surprisingly deep allegory to things real people can go through when a child is labeled as gifted and have to silently accept everything coming their way because of it, or when a child isn't seen that way and they feel like a total loss as a result. That's all because of Alma, who always made sure the family was as perfect as they can be out of fear of losing the miracle. And in the end, she learns that the true gift of her family is not their gifts, but just them. The family come together to bring out their true feelings and understand they're special no matter the gift or no gift. Not only is it a strong message adults can relate to easily, but even kids can feel that pressure on them. I should also point out that recently I've heard from a number of people that apparently the Madrigals are a toxic family because of everything I just mentioned. It's not the family themselves who's toxic, it's Alma being a toxic grandmother and having to realize the error of her ways. My friend the cartoon OG pointed out that Alma was so overcome by the horrible tragedy that happened to her, she allowed her fear to cloud her judgment. And she's the one willing to accept what she did was wrong, purely as a choice and not because Mirabel forced her to do so. There are toxic people out there, but it's not on you to change who they are. If they are willing to accept what they did was wrong and change for the better, that's what we call a good redemption arc. Not like Raya and the Last Dragon, where Namari barely had any signs of being a decent person and made that redemption feel so hollow in comparison. Anywho, regardless of what people make Encanto out to be, I still think it's a fantastic movie, and easily the best animated movie of 2021. I love Mitchell's too, don't get me wrong, but this movie stood out so much more. I kind of feel ashamed saying that so people don't assume I have some Disney supremism going on here, but then again, I'm the same person who yelled at Raya, so I don't think I do. I'm happy that this movie's been getting more attention since it came out on Disney Plus, and I can see it becoming a cult classic. I just really hope it doesn't have the same effect Frozen had, where everyone loved it at first, but once it became more popular, people hated it. The story is gripping, the animation is dazzling, the characters are amazing. It's really hard to find a lot of things wrong with the movie. I had a lot of fun watching it, and I know this miracle won't be leaving my watch list anytime soon.